Good morning. Happy Friday. Today we are talking from perfectionism to getting paid in 2 weeks. I am so excited for this conversation. We are talking to Emmy, a heartbreak hypnotherapist who helps women heal their hearts and their toxic relationship patterns after heartbreak so they can attract the love of their lives. So Emmy joined my 2-week intensive back in November. She came to me kind of stuck in perfectionism, not showing up consistently, posting consistently, not taking that big action that she knows she wants to, and getting paid what she desires. So in the 2 weeks, we have a magical transformation, and we are going to dive into that today. But before we dive in, I want to tell you that everything we talk about today in this live is in my Calm to Cash program that starts in 2 weeks. If you are interested, please DM me the word calm after this live. It is the first of its kind marketing program. We're talking copywriting, messaging, and content using the nervous system. It is going to be so powerful. I'm so excited about it. So DM me calm after this live. All right, so I'm going to bring Emmy on. Here we go. She's coming on.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You look beautiful on this Friday.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for this conversation.
Me too. I'm excited to just share about you and like your amazing program, but more than like what, the transformation that comes from your program. So I can't wait to just be supportive and, just share my transformation to be able to help others have their own transformation.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we dive into all the juicy goodness, I would love for you to share who you are, your story, what you do, and then we'll dive into all of the marketing, sales, offer, good stuff.
Yeah, of course. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Emmy Valerio, and if you're on the East Coast, morning. If you're in the West Coast, afternoon, wherever you are, hello. I am a heartbreak hypnotherapist here to help you heal after heartbreak so that you can attract the love that you desire. And how I got into this work is I went through my own heartbreak where I was engaged to be married and it didn't go as planned. I ended up getting my heart broken. And in that spiral of singleness, loneliness, heartache, um, I couldn't find a way out. I couldn't find the light that I needed to get out of that circumstance. And it took time. It took many months, right, to heal. And until I realized that there was a faster way of healing, which is hypnotherapy, that I started helping other people. I got certified in hypnotherapy and certified in different modalities. I am a counselor turned coach, so I already knew that there was talk therapy and things of that nature. But it was talk therapy takes a long, an elongated amount of time, right, to heal. And I felt like there has to be a rapid, a faster way to get the healing. And hypnotherapy is what definitely provided me that healing that I needed to be able to thrive after my breakup, but then also to become the woman that I knew that I wanted to be, which is the best, uh, you know, best woman for me, So I did that and got my hypnotherapy certification, and now I've been helping women with that. But I think a big part of me was so reluctant to call myself a hypnotherapist because I was so used to wearing the counselor hat, wearing the coach's hat. So for me, I called myself a breakup coach for a long time, a mindset coach, you name it, a confidence coach, you name it. I called myself that until I worked with Carrie, where I was able to now say, no, like what I know that the vehicle that I use to help women heal is through hypnotherapy. So I need to um, be out of that lens, right? And wear the hat with pride and understand and know that because that's the vehicle, I have to honor that. And so the heartbreak hypnotherapist came alive. So,
I love it. I love it. So that's an amazing little segue to the first thing I want to talk about because that is your unique
yeah,
vehicle, you know? And I think when you came to me, when I looked at your page, first of all, I didn't even know you had a master's in counseling. I didn't know you were board certified in hypnotherapy. That was nowhere to be found on your
yeah,
page. So, you know, I think you were a little frustrated. Your content was kind of blending in. You were following all these, you know, mainstream rules of, you know, what a relationship coach should be.
yeah,
Um, and you know there was no real reason why someone should come pay you $1,500+ versus you know coach Rachel, relationship coach down the street, right?
yeah,
And so the first thing we did was really get you to own that unique genius that you have. I mean, you have so many years of, you know, a
experience.
master's degree in counseling and mental health and you know doing this deep subconscious work, and you also have this really unique vehicle to helping women, you know, heal from heartbreak. You know, a lot of relationship coaches do surface level healing,
Healing.
right?
Yeah,
And your vehicle is really like changing them at a subconscious level so they never have to go through these toxic relationship patterns again.
yeah.
But that wasn't anywhere to be found on your page, right? And
No,
so
it was not.
that is the first thing we did, and Heartbreak Hypnotherapist was born. So I'd love for you to just talk a little bit more about, you know, your fear of really owning your genius. Because I think, you know, even when we talk about attachment theory, you said, and this is where the nervous system stuff comes in with the
Yeah,
marketing, you were scared to even talk about attachment theory because
yeah.
you didn't want to get it wrong or you didn't want someone to judge your way. So I would love for you to talk first about the fears of owning your genius, and then now how it feels to be the heartbreak hypnotherapist and really freaking stand out in this industry.
Yeah, Carrie, I didn't think we were going to go this deep,
You
but
always
we're going to go
go
deep.
deep with me,
We're
you know.
going
You
deep.
know this.
Like, okay. Um, the fear, right? I think the biggest fear for me is it was perfectionism, really leaning into that. But on top of perfectionism is people pleasing, right? That was a big fear for me. Um, Calling myself something that I people it first I'm the first heartbreak hypnotherapist
Yeah.
out there. So let's put that out there. So calling myself something that's not already out there, and people really going to resonate with that? Are they going to resonate with the phrase heartbreak hypnotherapist? I think it was a big fear in regards to that, but then I had to realize that I'm not here to please others. Like, I'm really here on this earth to heal and heal women from heartbreak, and the vehicle that I do that with is through hypnotherapy. And understanding that those that are meant to work with me will come and work with me, right? Because they know that this methodology, right, and process of healing is going to really support them. But I think a big part is that I did have an anxious attachment style. And so with that, my anxiety would peak every time I would, I guess, I would go on live, or every time I would, um, you know, share a little bit about who I am and where I'm going with the work that I'm going what the work that I'm doing. And I think it's because a big part of me just felt that I didn't want to feel like I was what's the word, not perfectionist, but I was lying, I guess. Imposter, I guess that's what you would say, an imposter syndrome. But then I had to say, like, to myself, and working with you is just reminding myself that I do have those credentials. Like, I have my master's in counseling. I'm applying to get my PhD. Like, I have so much credentials, whether it is through life coaching, hypnotherapy, a master's hypnotherapist, or being a breathwork instructor, or I just have so many different, modalities. And that's because I wanted to learn about these different modalities so that I can help to really figure out which modality would really be a rapid piece, a rapid pace for healing, right? So I utilized all these modalities and really realized that hypnotherapy is it. And the reason why is because it helps women rewire the subconscious mind. So many of us are really rewiring ourselves consciously, and that's what talk therapy kind of does. And then, meditation takes a long time in order for it to hit the subconscious brain. But with hypnotherapy, it like hits the subconscious brain right then and there. And so I just thought, like, why do a bypass product when I can do something that really heals the wound
Yep.
quickly? So
Absolutely. And I think so many women entrepreneurs have these perfectionists and people pleasing parts of them.
yeah,
And it's really, it's a survival mechanism. At some point, you learned that it was a threat to be seen in an imperfect way, right?
yeah,
And so that always bubbles up when you become an entrepreneur. You have to get visible, take massive action. That is always going to be activated, which is why it's so important we do the nervous system work with the marketing work,
yeah,
right? Because what was happening was you were so your nervous system, not
yeah,
conscious, Emmy, was so terrified to make these bold claims of, I am a hypnotherapist, I can heal your heart in X amount of time, right?
yeah,
And so you weren't even creating like this bold content that would actually get you super visible.
yeah,
You were subconsciously hiding yourself. I remember we created this awesome hook. And what was it? It was you're not crazy, you're just anxiously attached,
catch,
right?
yeah,
And you were like, that's brilliant. But before the 2 week intensive we had, you would have never posted something that bold and that edgy. And
no.
now it's like, let's go, right?
Yeah, and I think that, this is why I signed up for Calm to Cash is because and I'm going to be part of this. And the reason why I'm saying this, y'all, is why you need to purchase now is because, like, sometimes we get in our heads, right, about posting certain types of content. And while working with Carrie, I was able to get out of my head, get out of my get out of my anxiety and say to myself, is this content for me or is this for somebody who needs to hear it, right? And working with you, Carrie, I've been able to, create content on my own, but you give that little edge, that spice. And so I still feel like it's like I still have my training wheels on when it comes to creating content. And so that's why, I myself decided to join Calm to Cash again, because I felt like this would be a perfect time to, like, you know, keep going on my training wheels, but finally take them off, right? Well, within the 2 weeks. So
Yeah, I'm glad you jumped into Calm to Cash. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, I mean, that spice is what makes you stand out and what makes people pay you.
yeah,
It shows that you're the leader and you have something different that can actually heal them,
yeah,
right? And, you know, we talked a lot about this, but most of the coaches I work with are high ticket coaches,
mm-hmm.
and you have this brilliant 8 week premium offer, but high ticket buyers are buying for something specific. They're buying for a specialty. They're buying for uniqueness, right? And so before we made this tweak to your genius, your vehicle, and your messaging, a lot of the messaging was more vague and inspirational, and there
Yeah,
was no real reason to hire for that premium container. And now you are the heartbreak hypnotherapist,
yeah,
and that's worth $5,000 or more,
yeah.
right?
And I love that you say that because I think a big part of me that didn't want to lean into it. It's because like I said, I didn't know if people would resonate with that. And it's at the same time, had I had I had that because of my people pleasing mentality, but having you just had me realize, like, why do I have to care so much about what people think, like, about if the heartbreak hypnotherapist resonates for them? If it resonates for me and it feels intentionally true for me, then that should be enough to be able to call myself the heartbreak hypnotherapist. So yeah, I'm
And
excited
people
about
are
that.
looking for authenticity now,
Yeah,
something different. The industry's changed, it shifted. So that is what's going to get
yeah,
you paid. Before we move on to the messaging and sales shifts, I did want to mention, because you said you still have your training wheels on, and this is a big thing that I work with all my clients with. When you have these survival tendencies that are showing up in your business, offer creation, marketing, and sales, it's not okay, let's go all in, let's be this new identity, this highly confident, go person,
Yeah.
because that's, if you had made this shift and I had made you say, let's post 3 times a day, get over your perfectionism, just go all in, right?
Yeah.
That would have been too much too soon, and it would have sent you straight into a freeze or shutdown state,
Yeah.
which would have, and that's that like post and go, stop and go cycle that we see so much. It would have been too much too soon, and your nervous system couldn't handle that. So what we did was like a titrated action plan based on where you were, and how kind of terrified your system was
Yeah.
to post consistently, take big action, and get visible. And so we started, I say slow. We started slow. It's always, we start slow, and then it's like within 2 to 3 posts, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
my nervous system just realized we're not going to die. We can get visible, and then you start to speed up and just start to post.
Yeah.
And so I love that you felt that momentum, and there was a very strategic plan in place, so we could kind of train your nervous system a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of trauma uninformed coaches, oops, my light just went out, that say, go all in, post 3 times a day. And it's just, that can be not helpful for certain people who have these always
Yeah.
have survival tendencies that come up. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that you met me where I was, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's the most important part, especially with content creating. It's you created a plan that was authentic to me. Had you told me to post 5 times a week, I would have said, yeah, no, I'm not working with this person. She's crazy. Like I don't have that mental capacity to be able to post that many times a week. But you met
Yep.
me where I was and was able to identify pain points, trigger points that I know that, like, if I need to create content right now, like, I'll be able to sit down and create something because I know exactly what my client wants and needs and desires are and how I can meet that for them. So yeah, I think that within it was only 2 weeks that we worked together, I was able to
No.
really see the difference of the type of content I was creating. Like, I was creating a lot of inspirational content to boost confidence and things of that nature, really about how to help women heal through hypnotherapy, some inspirational content here and there, but mainly how hypnotherapy really helps women heal.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So let's dive into the messaging and sales shifts
Oh,
we did, because
okay.
I think that was the biggest portion of our time together. When I looked at your sales pages and your content, I if I didn't know you already, I would have thought you were maybe a confidence coach, right?
Yeah.
Because you do things a little bit differently. How important this, the subconscious work is, elevating their self-worth, their self-love, to change these relationship patterns. Your messaging had kind of deviated towards that, versus really focusing on the main desires of someone who has, is healing from heartbreak. And
Yeah.
so we made a lot of shifts in the content. It was kind of vague and fluffy,
Yeah.
focusing more on the confidence and the process. And I see this so much, the messaging focuses more on the process than like the end result. And so we shifted that, and we just created so much clarity and specificity in your content. And something I teach, it's symptom-based messaging. So not necessarily pain point or not necessarily desire, but
Hmm.
really focusing on those symptoms that your
Yeah.
ideal client is using. And we brought in a lot of marketing psychology, a lot of NLP, which you and I both have studied.
Yeah.
Really using our words to paint the picture for the for the follower, for the ideal client, creating this image in the brain, which then creates emotions in the body. And we know that emotion drives actions and results. And so by shifting your content to, yes, be more clear, yes, be more specific, but really focusing on the symptoms, their everyday experiences that they know, and painting that picture, we were able to connect to them on a body level and make them move, which is why you've gotten paid, in 2 weeks. I mean, Black Friday, you got, sales,
I did.
Everywhere. So if you can talk to maybe the top 2 or 3 takeaways or shifts when it comes to the content shifts we did and your sales copy, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think that like you said, the main point was really figuring out the struggle, right? Like this, and really meeting the client where they are. And I was speaking to them. The content that I had was already in regards to confidence, boosting up their confidence, and speaking to the person that I knew that once they worked with me, that's where they would be. And I needed to meet them where they were right now. They're crying, eating a big tub of ice cream, and sitting on the couch, literally asking themselves, like, how did I get here? Like, this is what my ideal client is really asking themselves. And I needed to really sit down and really figure these scenarios out, symptom-based scenarios, I guess that you would call them. I needed to really sit down with myself and figure out these scenarios out so that I can speak to them and really meet them where they are so that they can become that person I already know that's inside of them, right? But they don't feel that right now, right? So I was talking to that person, their higher self, and they're not feeling that right now. Right now they're just feeling like they want to, they're feeling their emotions, they're feeling sad, they're feeling vulnerable in this moment. And I needed to speak to that, and working with you allowed me to create that type of content, that I guess the paradigm shift that, like, I needed to speak to their higher self versus just speaking to who they are right now.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, there's like 2 things I want to speak to. So I think the first thing is, you were speaking to elevating self-worth, elevating self-love, right?
Yeah.
But to your ideal client who's just gotten out of a breakup, their heart's hurting, they can't get out of bed, they're, eating ice cream. They don't know that deep subconscious work or hypnotherapy or elevating their self-worth, whatever that means, to them. We know what that means, but they don't. Like, you were speaking to the process and, the how to get them out, but they don't know that hypnotherapy and elevating their self-worth is actually what would change their relationship patterns and have them attract a new, better man, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess
what we shifted was, talking to like where they are, right now. It's like, I know you're hurting and you're probably not able to get out of bed, but you see yourself, in 2025 with this man. And then, getting like super specific, even, going from like a fluffy term. So like a couple things we put on your sales page was, instead of saying, you have anxiety being single during the holidays, which is correct, but that is surface level messaging, right? We said, we know that you are already feeling anxious at, thinking about going to Thanksgiving
dinner,
and having Aunt Karen asking you why you're not married yet. Or, we know that Christmas is 21 days away and you are already tensed up because you can't stand all of the engagement photos in matching PJs in front of that are about to hit Facebook and Instagram, and you're going to want to, so that's how we shifted it. So we were speaking to kind of where they are now, not the how, right? Not your vehicle. We definitely slipped that in because that's the unique, vehicle what would get hired. So that was one shift. And then we got you super specific on talking and painting that picture, which I think made a huge difference.
Definitely did. And like, I think I didn't think of it that way, but if you don't have a marketing hat, or if you don't, have those tools in your toolkit, you wouldn't even know to create that. Those are the differences, those light little wordings that can, get you a client or make the client feel like this is not for them, right? So I think that Well, I know that being that I definitely didn't have a marketing hat. I came from a educating background. I was a
Mhm.
counselor turned coach, and so a lot of the programs were about really learning, how to coach people and really support them in that type of level. It didn't have a lot of sales and marketing input into them, and so I think working with you has definitely allowed me to build that marketing and sales muscle so that I can feel like, hey, I can do this on my own even if Carrie's not here. I mean, like I said, I'm still wearing my training my training heels, right? My kitten heels are still being worn right now, but I can't wait to wear some stilettos like in the near future. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? So.
I can't wait to see that either. Yeah, I mean, I think like you're so good at your craft, and this is with every coach and entrepreneur. You're
Yeah,
so good at your craft, but if we haven't mastered the messaging, the marketing, and the sales, we can't get anyone into your container to experience your
yeah,
genius, right? And so that's the gap we've closed.
yeah.
Okay, so two more things I want to talk about. Let's talk about your offers real quick
Mhm.
because when you came to me, we created a cash injection fund offer that then, would be kind of the lead magnet into
Mhm.
your premium offer. We overhauled your premium offer to be a longer container to give you more, monthly recurring income to
Yeah.
meet your ideal client where they are and give them more time to heal and grow and get the desired outcome. And then we also created a passive income bundle for Black Friday that you did see sales here and there. So if we can touch on those three real quick, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, where do I start? I guess I'll start with the big sale. Like, do you want me to start with where do you want me to start, Carrie?
So let's
Because I
see.
do have a lot of different things. And I,
Let's start with the holiday survival group, because I
okay,
think that was unique in that we made it super timely.
okay, yeah, we
Um,
definitely did.
and we also created that for um, the person that was maybe like right out of a breakthrough or kind of still in that early stages, and going through the holiday season would be super anxiety
Yeah,
inducing, because we already had your premium offer, which
yeah,
yes, we did overhaul, but that was more kind of like a where they are on their journey, kind of midway of like, let's finish the healing and
yeah,
get you to attract the man in 2025. So this newer cash injection offer bridged that gap, and met the client where, in the earlier stage in the journey
yeah.
strategically, so we could nurture them to rise into your premium offer.
Okay. So I guess I'll start with Unbreakable, like, because you said
Yeah.
that. And I want everyone to understand that when Carrie helped me, my packages or my offers were all over the place. It wasn't as if it was seamless, so my audience would know or my clients would know, like, after this you can jump into this, after this you can jump into something else. Like, my packages were just, I guess, for me, I felt they were, I understood it, right? But if my potential clients were walking in, they'll be like, okay, what does this have to do with that? Like, how does that relate to one another? So, working with Carrie, I created a 6-week holiday survival group. It's called Unbreakable. In Unbreakable, women were able to have a group setting, right, where they can heal through heartbreak, because they want to reclaim their confidence and attract the love that they desire in 2025. I think that, well, I know that this program, 6 weeks, was amazing. Um, I think that when it was created, it was mainly made for the holidays. And then I realized that it's something that I want to keep going. So I am going to now call it Breathe Through Your Breakup. And so inside of that container, right, because it's a group container, inside of that group container, women will be able to listen to the 6 weeks of Unbreakable, right? But then they would also be able to receive monthly breath work and hypnosis and meditation audios, right? That they can they'll have the, what's it called, the the toolkit, their self-healing toolkit, but it'll be audio, where I'll pop in there maybe once a month and, support them in that way. So I think that, well, I know that while working with Carrie, I was able to create that. I think a big part of me didn't want to do group coaching. And then while working with Carrie, I'm like, this is what the women want. Like they're feeling lonely, and they want to be able to be working alongside other women that are also feeling the same type of way. Like, why would I take that away from them? And so creating turning unbreakable to breathe through your breakup is going to be an amazing membership site or amazing membership group that will thrive in the new year. So I'll be doing that through Telegram. And then from there, women are able to go into my my Braveheart intensive. So my Braveheart intensive, when I started with Carrie, was 4 days, and the reason why I created it to be 4 days is because it was 2 hours per day, so equivalent to 8 hours altogether. And then while working with Carrie, I felt like those 4 days were a lot for me, and my I guess my mental stamina, right? So we wanted to break it up to a point where I would feel like I would be able to re-energize and recharge after working with the client. So creating it to become an 8-week program, where this program, at first when it started off, it was, like I said, 4 weeks to help women heal after heartbreak. It literally said that, right? But while working with Carrie, it transformed to 8 weeks to ditch your toxic relationship patterns, to reclaim your self-worth after heartbreak, and attract the love that you desire and deserve, right? So it's not just healing from heartbreak, it's really helping women release those negative relationship patterns that's been holding them hostage for a long time and keeping them to attracting the wrong type of love, so that while they're going through my program, they now can attract the love that they deserve and desire, right? So that was a big shift in itself. And yeah, I I think while working with Carrie is just, I now know that, like, I have this group program that women can trickle down and work with me individually. And then if they would like, they can also buy this amazing breakthrough bundle, which was an amazing cash injection, by the way. Like, I didn't even know that I could create something off of things that I've already had. I think that was the most important part. Like, I didn't have to recreate the wheel. Like, all I did was bundle up programs that I've already had, just sitting there on the ether, just doing nothing, right? And I bundled them up and created it as a cash injection, sold it for, I believe, was like $97, and got a couple of clients in there through that cash injection. And so that was amazing in itself, right? And I'm going to continue utilizing that as a cash injection here and throughout the year, because altogether that whole bundle is valued for $297, and I sold it for $97, and I'm going to continue doing that as a cash injection. So it was good to know that I can do something like that without overthinking it, I guess. It was a thing where Carrie and I was just like, okay, why don't you do this? And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Okay, cool. Let me just put up something, a web page. And if people buy, people buy. But if they don't, it's no biggie for me. And people bought. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep doing this now, because it's something that people need and want and desire. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm a simplification queen. If you have resources, audios, mini courses, masterclasses, video trainings in a Facebook group, we're going to repurpose the crap out of that, bundle it, create an order bump, do an upsell, do a downsell, all the things, because there are so many revenue generating opportunities that are just sitting on your desktop, right?
Yeah.
That are like so valuable. So I was so happy and excited that we could bundle that for Black Friday, and I'm glad people jumped in.
Yeah, they did.
And then two other things. Yeah, so you had great offers when you came to me. Yeah. The only thing is, we created this cohesive kind of continuation journey in your product suite. So when someone entered your world at a low ticket $97 offer, then we had a mid-level, and then we had your premium, so people had opportunities to keep buying from you, so you didn't have to go out and find new clients or And so there's this natural progression now. And, that also creates more income coming in on a daily basis, but also more recurring income from your premium offer.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, we were really strategic, and I love offer creation. We were very strategic about the types of offers we created, the price points, and then the format of those offers. And we really got into the mindset of your ideal client. So for instance, the survival group, we knew that this woman was already anxious. She's not been alone for a while at the holidays. She's going to have to answer all of these questions. It made sense for that to be a group offer, even if you were a little anxious about it, because that woman wants to be able to tap into a group and get support when she's triggered, or get real-time coaching. And so we made it a group, Telegram as well as the format, because it was in their back pocket. It was like a text message group that if they got triggered, they felt lonely, they felt anxious, they could tap into you really quickly. We were very strategic about that. And I'm very big into psychology and human behavior, and using neuroscience to create the right offers. These are slam dunk offers that will sell like that. If you're meeting the client where they are. And then for your premium offer, it was 4 days of magic, right? But you and I are both healers, and we know healing work is a lot. And if it's done too much too soon, it can overwhelm your nervous system and shut you down. And then they don't make the progress or get the transformation that they want. And then you lose the testimonial, or maybe the referral down the road, other ways to scale your business with ease. So we lengthened that. We created a longer container for you to hold them and, have this ongoing healing experience that would absolutely 100% give them the transformation that they were needing. So again, we got into the state and the mindset and where they were, and we curated that offer a little bit more to meet their needs, make sure they got the results.
In which they did. I think that, like you said, the 4 days was just, I would find myself just like drained, saying, and it's because it was 4 intensive days. And I still can say that my 8-week program is still intensive. Saying? It's not something where it's like, it's not something where it's just talking, like we're really reprogramming your subconscious mind to really attract the love that you deserve and desire. But then we're also dismantling the belief that a lot of my clients are walking into while working with me, that they're feeling like they're not worthy and not deserving of that type of love, right? So it's a twofold thing where 4 days was just a lot, and now 8 weeks is just, it gives me the groove that I need to re-energize myself. And then also the same thing with the Telegram, it gives me that momentum or that moment in time to be able to just regenerate myself. So
yeah, absolutely. I work with a lot of healers and wellness pros. I'm one myself, and it takes a lot out of you to do that type of work. And so we did, reformat this so you could be a more powerful facilitator as well.
Exactly.
Happy to hear that. Okay, so last thing I want to touch on is the nervous system piece, the perfectionist and people pleasing piece, because there are always sneaky ways that people don't know how this is showing up. And I have 2 examples from our time together. One was, you love Canva and spend hours in Canva, and we had created these sales slides for your new program.
Oh yeah.
We're going through, and we were looking at the content and looking at the slides, and I could not read it for the life of me. They looked like a professional graphic designer had done them, but the text was so small. There were so many colors. You couldn't read it. That it was so, to me, it's like, it's better to be readable than perfect, for sure. But I know from a nervous system perspective, that was your subconscious coming out, because you were scared that if you weren't perfect, you were scared to be seen. But then also, like, if someone actually could read the slide, then they might reach out and they might sign up, and then that opens up a whole can of worms, right? And so a sneaky way that was showing up for you was you were creating these beautiful slides, but they weren't readable, from the fonts. The fonts were too small. The colors were they weren't bold enough, so you couldn't read it. So that was we adjusted that. And then the other thing was your copy. I mean, your messaging and your copywriting was like chef's kiss by the end of our intensive.
Yeah.
But one of the posts that you did, it was beautiful, but then the end was more inspirational and vague. And I was like, Emmy, this is where the attachment theory comes in. This is where the hypnotherapy comes in. This is where we own your genius and say, this is the tangible healing work that we can do to overcome this. But you were scared to really own that, and so you felt safer to do the vague inspirational, like, overcome your fear and it'll all be great, right? Which sounds great, but it's not going to get you paid $2,000 or more.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about those couple examples, or how this the nervous system stuff was really bubbling up and how that shifted.
Yeah, I could see that my nervous system was shot when I created content, and I shared it with you, and you're like, yeah, it's good to post. And then I didn't post, right? It's like it was one of those things where I was just like a turtleneck, and like feeling like hot. Like, I don't know why, like, she wants me to post this. And it's like, but if you're going to go into business, right? And I think this is the one thing takeaway that I got. It's like, if you're going to go into business, you have to go into business in a way that it's authentic to you, but then you also have to show up for your business to be seen, so that people pay you for your intellectual property, I guess you can say, right? Or pay you for your genius. Like, I was afraid to show up for my business, or afraid to show up as a genius, as a heartbreak hypnotherapist, because I was afraid to be seen. And I had to really overcome that to a point where I had to it was an internal battle, where I had to say to myself, like, this is not something that I have to do. Like, I don't have to be a heartbreak hypnotherapist. I can go back into the workforce, or I can, I'll find a job and, do that for the rest of my life and be a 9-to-5er. Like, I can do that for the rest of my life. I don't have to, but I get to do this business. I get to show up for my business. I get to share my knowledge with people, and share with pride that I'm a heartbreak hypnotherapist, because I'm the only one that's out there to do this. You get what I'm saying? So I get to do it with pride, versus, tucking my tail between my legs and, hiding in fear of what, right? So being able to work with you kind of allowed me to, like, process that on my own, and process that with, just process that to really subdue my nervous system from going into a fight mode, because I was fighting myself hard.
Yeah, I mean, so many women have this fear of visibility. They have a fear of, oh, what if clients actually show up and I can't get them results?
Yeah.
Or a fear of getting an influx of money and then they can't hold it because they've had feast and famine money, issues their entire lives. There's so many stories that are stuck in the nervous system that when you go to be an entrepreneur and take action and get visible, they all bubble up.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing this work alongside the messaging, the copywriting, the marketing, all of that, you will hide, right? And so many women, I talked about this on a live last week, so many women will just go get a job or quit because of these fears, and because they think that they're not cut out for the business. They think, oh, maybe this wasn't actually my calling. And I want to preach this from the mountaintops. These are survival responses that are being triggered in your business. It does not mean anything about you. There's nothing wrong with you, but we need to work with it so you can show up boldly, so you can own your message and transform lives and make a crap ton of money at the same time, right? But if women don't know that that's what's happening under the surface at a nervous system level, then they do think it's themselves. Then there's shame and guilt of like, oh, why can't I just show up and post,
Yeah.
right? And so that's why this work is so powerful. And so yes, we did the messaging and the marketing work with you, but I think doing the nervous system work is really what allowed you to show up and post, right?
Mm-hmm.
And put the messaging and the copy and the content tweaks to good use.
Yeah, I agree. I think that just being able to really subdue my nervous system, or really like just it's not reprogramming my nervous system, it's mainly like just calming my nervous system down, allowed me to be able to create a lot of these cash injections that I didn't know that I could do, because I was so deep wrapped up in my head, and wrapped up in the thought of like, what if I do this wrong, or what if it doesn't look right, versus now going to it and saying, well, I get to do it wrong. I get to, try and make it messy. Like, I get to do it this way. And if it doesn't work out, I get to try again, right? So
yeah, and this is starting the rewiring process. Every time you go to post and say, it's okay if this flops, it's okay if this isn't perfect, you're creating new neural pathways in your body and your brain that say, it's okay to be imperfect, and hey, you can still make a shit ton of money and change lives not being perfect, right? And so that's what you've started to do, which is super powerful.
Yeah, and now I can't wait to continue doing that type of work in Calm to Cash, and now doing it in a group container is going to be so amazing.
Absolutely. And that's why I